Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Melina. I do videos about makeup, plants, my life, and travel. But today we're gonna talk about a plant that I bought, that I received with root rot. And this plant was very expensive. It was almost $100. With the root rot, like... And I've had this plant before. But I killed it due to root rot. So this plant is very prone to root rot. And I'm talking about the one and only, the Monstera Thai Constellation. This plant is called the Monstera Thai Constellation because the speckling, the variegation on this specific Monstera is speckled and it looks like a constellation. Anyways, this plant is known for rotting a lot on you. If it wasn't for me taking it out and unplanting this plant, I would have never ever known that it had root rot. I didn't know this. I bought this plant on Facebook Market and unfortunately it had root rot. So I invite you guys to watch me and see how I managed to get it out of root rot, and now it has a beautiful root system. But oh boy, did it take a month and a half. About a month and a half, I would say. So yeah, you guys, if you want to learn how I saved this dying Monstera Thai Constellation from root rot, and if you want to know the tea, did I message the seller that I wanted my money back? Did I get a totally new plant? Did she replace it, or did I just not say anything? Stay tuned. Please do subscribe. And if you guys already fell in love with my personality, you can follow me at Melina Glam on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and I believe that's it. But without further ado, let's talk about Monstera Thai Constellation and how I managed to bring all the rot out. Okay, you guys, some of you might notice that on my intro, I do have a big Monstera Thai Constellation right over here that I do model for you guys in the intro. Unfortunately, I killed it due to root rot. I tried to propagate it. I tried everything, but it was just far gone with root rot. So be careful with Monstera Thai Constellation. Like, keep checking that. Even if it looks good, it can betray you and it can rot anytime. So I was sad I lost that plant. It had been years. I got that plant in like 2021. I've had it for a long time. I just killed it in 2023 last year. So for months, I didn't have no Monstera Thai Constellation, so I decided to go on Facebook Market, and I'm like, let me see if there's a beautiful one, because nowadays, as you can see, the variegation is prettier. You get half moons. This plant, don't get me wrong. When I bought it, it had like 5 leaves. The variegation was beautiful. I only noticed that the bottom leaf was very yellow, so that was a red flag right there, but I totally ignored it because I was blinded by the half moon. Look at this half moon and the fenestrations, and it had younger leaves, as y'all can see. So I messaged the seller. She seemed very nice, and this plant was, she put it on a plant group on Facebook for $75, and I'm like, that's a really fair price. Prices have dropped. It's still kind of high, but the variegation is beautiful. It has 5 leaves. Like, let me go ahead and message her. So she says it's $85. And I'm like, girl, you just said $75 on a Facebook group. And she said, okay, fair game. I forgot, but yeah, you can have it for 75. So we set up a meet and I get this plant. And when I bring it home, let me just roll the footage. And yeah, I was just roll the tape. Okay, guys, here's the Thai constellation that I will be repotting. I'm kind of debating if I should repot it because it has this brand new leaf unfurling, but I don't like plants in soil and dirt, so I'm just gonna wash everything out. Okay, you guys, unfortunately, all the roots were mush. But the plant looks healthy. I'm so confused. I can't get away from root rot, huh? Well, the thing is, I'm very experienced in, like, rooting monsteras in water, so I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna message the seller, but I'm not asking for my money back. I'm just gonna let her know what happened, and I don't expect anything in return because I love the variegation and I'm sure I can root this, but I don't know. I'm gonna tell her she needs to be careful, and yeah, this should have been like cheaper, but yeah, I'll keep y'all updated. So stay tuned for the next update. Okay, you guys, so as y'all can see in the videos, I don't like soil. So I took this Monstera Thai Constellation out of soil, and that's where I discovered that it had root rot. So if it wasn't for me not liking soil, I would have never found out it had root rot, and I could have potentially killed this plant. I was just gonna put it in pon or leca or something else, or a mixture. But lo and behold, this plant said, "Ooh, I got root rot." Y'all saw the roots. They were rotting. So I don't know. I don't like confrontation. Unless it's like really, really bad and I really, really have to message the seller. In the past, I've had Monstera Thai constellations with root rot and die on me, and I've gotten replacements. So I kind of have experience in rooting Monstera Thai constellations in water. And the plant had 5 leaves. It kind of has like a long stem to work with, so if the root rot spread, I could have cut it and had more nodes. So I said to myself, let me just try to root this plant in water because that has worked in the past for me, and it's not my first Monstera Thai constellation that had root rot. So I definitely had experience. I ended up chopping all the root rot, took out all the squishy, and just left like the ittiest bittiest part of the roots that were not squishy. And I just put it in water, regular tap water, and I did add, for example, I think this is the same cup. Maybe not. Yeah, it is because it has the holes. So I propped up the cutting higher and I put a zip tie so the stem wouldn't really touch the water, and it was just the root touching the water, and that really prevented it from having stem rot. And the roots, as y'all can see, look at the beautiful roots. Look at the rootage. It has a lot of roots now, and they're white, and like I can even chop her if I wanted to because it has so many roots. Like I can literally make a cutting right here. Oh my god, can y'all see? It has roots here way at the bottom. Like these roots are from this part of the stem, and I can cut it here and have 2 new plants, or even 3 if I get greedy. But I'm letting this plant develop this new leaf first because this was the newest leaf when I got it, and I didn't really want to lose it because it was the prettiest half moon leaf, and it had like a whole ass fenestration right here, and the hole, as y'all can see, it's kind of like not it's flimsy. I know it's not like spread out like this one, and that's because it had root rot. So the energy didn't like reach this leaf. Unfortunately, it was concentrating on battling the root rot and trying to save it itself from destruction. So I managed to get it out of root rot, and yeah, I'm so happy that it was a success story. I pretty much changed the water every like week, and I used regular tap water until I saw the ittiest bittiest roots. Then when I saw some roots, I added a little bit of my nutrient solution because I do grow my plants in a semi-hydro. Most of my plants are in a semi-hydro setup, so I have nutrients, and it lived. So it literally took me about a month and I think like a week or 2 weeks for it to get all these roots. And I constantly checked for rot, stem rot, any other. It did have like parts of the old root that were rotting, so I cut those off, and eventually now it has a new root system and no more no more rotting roots. So just focus on getting all the rot out and preventing the stem touching the water so any stem rot could be prevented. And keep an eye on your plant, change the water. And this was in my IKEA greenhouse, which has a humidity of about 60% consistently. It goes up to like 67 sometimes, and it's under a Barina grow light, a strong Barina grow light. So that's it. It's in my cabinet back there, and she did great. Okay, the tea. I did not message the seller. I don't know if I should. Maybe I should, and just like give her some advice not to like to check her plants before she sells them, and tell her that my plant was a success story. But I don't know. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. Like I said, I don't like confrontation, so I don't know if I'm gonna do that. But anyways, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll definitely keep you updated when I do pot up this plant. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do leca. I might do leca or pon. I'm definitely not doing soil. We hate soil here. Nothing against soil, but I just don't like soil. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait for that new leaf to unfurl, and then I'm gonna pot it up. If you have any plant that has root rot, just analyze the plant, see if you have extra nodes you can work with. But if it's long gone and like you don't have any more nodes, contact your seller. Take pictures before you do anything. I didn't take pictures, or I actually did take pictures. Actually, I did. But when I analyzed the plant, I knew I could work with it. If you're a more advanced grower, you can definitely save a plant from root rot, but just analyze everything. And if you're a beginner, I would just advise you to message the seller and see what they say. But yeah, you guys, thanks for watching. I'm Melina, and hopefully I'll see you on my next video. Bye, guys.